It's official. John McCain has got Alzheimer. After he met with the ambassador Rice, and you will hear his comment on that. And on the other hand, yesterday interview with Fox News of Pulitzer Prize Thomas Ricks that destroyed John McCain, and there is a reason for that. So just go through and listen what he said. That's very interesting.
We tried for Ambassador Rice. We did get a statement from her office, Senator, quoting here, "Well, we certainly wish that we had perfect information just days after the terrorist attack. As is often the case, the intelligence assessment has evolved." What do you think?
Well, that's another really big question, this whole scenario. Why would it have evolved? There were people who were survivors of the consulate, who were flown to Germany, who were interviewed by the FBI, and they said absolutely there was no demonstration. Yet for a couple of weeks, the intelligence community seemed to be wrestling with signal intelligence and other classified information that they had, which led them to wait 2 weeks before they could come out and say that there was no spontaneous demonstration, that this was a planned attack by Al-Qaeda. Again, who changed the talking points that was used by Ambassador Rice, and why, and on what circumstances? Why was references to Al-Qaeda left out? There's so many things that have happened, and the interesting thing is, finally, Neil, we knew within hours of all the details when we got Bin Laden and the raid there. Every bit of one of them. They're making a movie out of it. Now here we are 10 weeks later, and finally our ambassador of the United Nations, who appeared on every national Sunday show, has now said that she gave false information concerning how this tragedy happened, as far as the spontaneity of a demonstration triggered by a hateful video.
So guys, you saw there is no comment on that, because this is the initial information that Susan Rice got from the intelligence, and as clarified in the video of the interview with Thomas Ricks yesterday, practically there are information that still that will be not clear for probably for years. It will take time. It's the same reason why it took practically 7 years to kill Osama bin Laden, because before you get the right information it will take a long time. But as I said, this guy has lost his mind. And if you remember yesterday's interview of Thomas Ricks, it clarified that John McCain and Fox News has to shut up on this topic. They have no talking point at all to discuss this topic in any possible way. So it's critical to.
Right now, pressure mounting on the Obama administration over its response to the deadly attack on our consulate in Benghazi, as Catherine Herridge reported just minutes ago. Several top GOP lawmakers are backing off their criticism of UN Ambassador Susan Rice, instead focusing on the White House. Two senators even expressing concerns about a possible White House cover-up. Let's talk about it with Tom Ricks. He is author of The Generals. He has spent decades covering our military. He joins us now. Senator John McCain has said in the past that he would block any attempt to nominate Susan Rice to become Secretary of State. She's currently the UN ambassador. He seems to be backing away from that. What do you make of it?
I think that Benghazi generally was hyped by this network especially, and that now that the campaign is over, I think he's backing off a little bit. They're not going to stop Susan Rice from being Secretary of State.
When you have 4 people dead, including the first U.S. ambassador in more than 30 years, how do you call that hype?
How many security contractors died in Iraq, do you know?
I don't.
No, nobody does, because nobody cared. We know that several hundred died, but there was never an official count done of security contractors dead in Iraq. So when I see this focus on what was essentially a small firefight, I think, number one, I've covered a lot of firefights. It's impossible to figure out what happens in them sometimes. And second, I think that the emphasis on Benghazi has been extremely political, partly because Fox was operating as a wing of the Republican Party.
All right. Tom Ricks, thanks very much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Well, as you can see, it was a checkmate.